Yes. Okay. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for your patience with me. I think it probably will be kind of a quick meeting. So I'm here in a public area, so excuse my signing and anything else that's going on, but I'm training today, so we have in attendance. Did somebody get that all taken care of? Okay. Now approval of minutes from the April meeting. Michelle? So Michelle moves for approval. We see Kim seconding. Thank you. So new members, voting new members. Did everyone have the opportunity to read all of the bios of the 3 new members who were put up? Everyone? Are we ready to vote?
I think we needed to vote on the minutes first.
Oh, I thought it was all approved. Did we not?
Well, we had a motion and a second. Did we vote? Did I miss that? I didn't think we voted. Okay.
Yeah, everyone needs to vote. You're right. Thank you. So for approval of minutes, everyone voting? Delaney's counting. Okay. Looks like it's unanimous. Okay. Okay, so before we move on to voting for members, I think, Stephen, did you have a concern on voting? I just wanted to make sure with the email, I haven't requested to see the meeting. Oh, is that done in a closed meeting or is that done in a public meeting? Do we need to close the meeting to vote on new members? Sarah's saying it's not, doesn't need to be closed.
It can't be closed. We actually, sorry, do you want me to speak to that?
Hang on, let's spotlight. Okay, thank you. Okay.
There. Okay, so I just wanted to clarify that we cannot, we really shouldn't close the meeting to vote. That should happen in a meeting with the full body. It's a public meeting. So I think we did that one time. I talked to the chair and co-chair and we decided that we wouldn't do that again. So. And we have several nominations that you should have gotten the emails for from Melanie. We have 3 deafblind applicants. And I believe, Katie, I don't want to steal your thunder. Were you going to talk about the process of how you wanted to vote?
So is there an official, sorry, now that she's spotlighted, is there an official voting process that we need to follow?
No, just our regular, we were going to vote on each nominee at a time and just vote yes or no. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So John Gelly, all in favor? Raise your hands. I'm the same way. I think do we have any questions? Looks like maybe Michelle has a question. Yes, Michelle has a question.
Can you spotlight?
I'm saying that there needs to be a motion made. Someone needs to make a motion.
Yes.
So I will start by making that motion. I move to accept John Galley into the advisory council as a representative.
I see Martin is seconding. All right, do we have a limit on how many we can vote in? Is it just one? Are we voting in all three?
And Melanie says, do the individual names first. I need to get those down.
Let me just clarify really quickly. So we have enough room in our bylaws to vote in. There are 3 people that were interested in the deafblind position. We have room on our council for all 3. And when we met as an executive committee, we decided to just let the council decide if we want all 3 or 1 or 2. We're open and we have the capacity on our council. We also, I believe, have a nominee for, we have a hearing loss association rep member that we need to replace starting in the summer. So that's the other one, I believe. Am I missing any, Melanie? Are we voting on the hearing loss association rep today? Sorry.
Not yet, not yet.
Okay. So that's another one that we'll bring at a future meeting. But we have that position open and we have room for all of those. And then we will be very close to our maximum of 15 starting in July when we lose a lot of members. I can't remember the exact number, forgive me. I have a sheet that we put together where we're trying to track all the people leaving and joining. And I can go through that if you'd like, but that was kind of the issue is we had 3 interested people in the deafblind position. We can vote all 3 or we can vote less, up to the advisory council.
Everyone's about like Katie looks like. Okay. So maybe we discuss first and decide if we want to vote in all 3 or if we want to limit how many we vote in before we start approving names.
Because I guess we would need nominations. That's what we need is, sorry, I'm not. We just need nominations. I'm sorry. That's what I was going to say is I think everyone at the last meeting was interested in all 3, but if you want to have some discussion before we nominate all 3, we can do that up to the council. But we will need nominations for whoever we want to vote on. And there is a motion on the table for John Galley. And second.
This is Martin. I just need to remind everybody there is a motion on the floor right now that Kim moved to nominate John Galley. And I believe the second was also recorded. So that discussion now should be focused on John Galley only. Thank you. All in favor for John Galley? Is it 6? Any opposed? I don't see anyone opposed. Stephen Ehrlich have his hand raised, or he's saying he's neutral on it. Okay. He's abstaining. All right. Amy, can we spotlight Amy? Hang on. Okay, so is this open for discussion now on the other two? Is that correct? Can we open it up for that? Okay. So I'm wondering about, I want to make sure we have the right balance of representation. So I'm not sure who's leaving in July and who they represent. So maybe we can talk about that before we talk about adding two other people into the deafblind representation. Any thoughts about that? Martin, I agree with Amy. I have a list ready of people whose terms expire in June. There's Justin representing, he is breaking up for me, sorry. And I see Charlotte.
Charlotte from the Hearing Loss Association, Amy Fakota, service providers, Stephen Ehrlich, the deafblind consumer, and finally, last but not least, Michelle Tanner, representing Utah Schools for the Deaf and Blind. And Crystal, I'll just go from here.
Okay.
Sarah has the floor. Sarah, you're on mute.
You think I'd know better by now. Still doing it. This might help answer your question. I put together a sheet for Justin and Charla, and I think Martin has this also, but it's a sheet of, I wanted to be able to kind of see who was actually, as of July, who we'd have on our council, because these are terms that are basically replacing the individuals who are leaving the council, and it has kind of what position that they represent. Is that what you wanted to know, Amy? Is kind of, okay. So as of July 1st, we have Martin Price, who's been a member, but he'll be replacing Michelle as the education representative. We have Kim Lucas, who will remain on as the UAD representative. We have Katie Green, who has been on for a while. She'll continue as a parent of an individual who is deaf or hard of hearing. Lawrence Lee is a new member from a—
Can you repeat the last name, please, Sarah?
Katie Green.
No, Lauren. You said Lauren?
Oh, Lawrence Lee.
S-L-E-E?
No, Lawrence.
Oh, Lawrence. Okay.
Larry. Lawrence Lee, yes. And he's a hard of hearing representative. And you guys, please correct me if I didn't get these right. We have Brad Jones, who is our VR counselor, and also VR counselor, community service provider rep, and also deaf. I should have said, obviously, Martin and Kim are also deaf. We have Brian Leeper, who has joined us recently. He's a community resource provider who is deaf. And these are the categories that are listed in the bylaws. And I can send this to you guys after. Chip was actually put on as a CODA, but there is no category for CODAs in our bylaws, which I was surprised. But so I have him down as a community service provider, and he will be remaining after July. And Cody Simonson, who is also a new member. So he started, and he's also a community service provider interpreting. We have pending appointment 2 individuals who we need to get official start dates for them because they've been approved by the council, but we've been having some conversations about when they would start. Do we start everyone on the same time frame, or do we start? So I apologize, Joe and Sharon James. Joe Helfrich, you were both nominated by this committee, and we need to get you your exact term dates and get you appointed by the director of the Department of Workforce Services. They are both hard of hearing representatives, individual who is deaf or hard of hearing. And then we have a vacancy for a deafblind individual or more, but at least one. And we have lost with Charla, our representative of the Hearing Loss Association of America. Those are all individuals who are listed, those positions are all listed in the bylaws. We have 4 hard of hearing, I'm sorry, 4 deaf. Assuming the other 2 that are in the queue, 7 of 10 members will be deaf or hard of hearing. And there is no split in the bylaws. It just says, you know, the majority will be deaf or hard of hearing. And then we're missing the deafblind representative, which obviously we'd have, if we have 1 or 3, they would be most likely considered deaf. So that brings us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Assuming we have everyone, Joe and Sharon and the people that have already been approved, 1 deafblind and 1 hearing loss association, we'd have 12 members starting in July. And we can have 15. So hopefully that's helpful information.
Melanie has something. So just for your information, Brian Leeper emailed and that he will be resigning. And Martin says who? Who? Brian Leeper.
He was.
Who had a question? Somebody had a question or comment? Stephen. Question. I understand that Martin, you represent the School for the Deaf and Blind. Because Michelle is leaving, you will be taking over that position as a representative from the School for the Deaf. Is that correct? And Martin says correct. Yes, that's right. And Steve says okay. And Melanie says yes, Martin will be replacing Michelle. This is Amy. One more question. So last time Stephen talked about pros and cons of having 3 deafblind members fill those positions. And I want you to refresh my memory on that. Stephen, what were your feelings about having 2, 3 deafblind representatives on the council? This is Stephen. My feeling is to choose 1 rather than 3. If you have 3 representatives from the deafblind community, they will all be, it'll be a total of 6 years. So then we might not have other deafblind members want to replace them after that time frame. So maybe have 1 serve a term and then bring another one on consecutively. That way we have a more balanced representation from the deafblind community. This is Amy. My feeling is that we should follow Stephen's advice. He knows his community best. he knows what the needs are in that community. That's my feeling, but I'm open to discussion from everyone. This is Michelle. Thank you, Stephen, for bringing up your perspective. I appreciate that. One concern is that we did already vote in one person, and Stephen abstained from that vote. So my suspicion is that he may want to consider one of the other two. But now if we've already voted on one, we didn't have the opportunity to consider the other two. Mm-hmm. So just putting that out there to consider.
I believe, oh.
And Katie says, I had the same concern, is that we did already vote one person in before we decided how many we were going to approve, how many positions we were going to approve. And we're going to Sarah next.
I'm waiting.
Sarah, go ahead.
Do you want the interpreter?
I'm on. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. I don't see you on mine. So yes, I'm sure there's a way with Robert's Rules of Order, we can somehow go back and change our mind, since we were just getting started and we have, clarified the process. I think at the last meeting, I was trying to find the minutes. I think we talked about this last time, and I don't remember what we decided, but it doesn't, I'm totally open. It's completely up to the advisory council. If you guys want to do that, then I suggest someone make a motion, and maybe Kim, since you were the one that forwarded the nomination, we should nominate all three, because we had 3 people who submitted their applications. And if we could make that motion and vote on it, and then we could have a discussion maybe, and then vote. We could vote, the most people that vote for one of them wins, or I don't know if you want to discuss them first and only nominate one. It's up to you guys.
Looks like we're going to Stephen. Stephen's hand is raised. I wanted to ask Kim to make that motion, because I think we fouled up the process in the beginning, and it's a little bit confusing. So let's restart, go with the individual names and proceed from there. This is Katie. So I found the minutes from the previous meeting, and let's see. The other concern was technology for all three DEP line members being on the board, as well as transportation. And one other concern was there wouldn't be enough representation in the future if we had all 3 at the same time. So those were the concerns shared at the last meeting. Going to Kim. I will not withdraw the motion. That's final. It's been finalized. Going to Larry, looks like. Oh, Melanie says, hold on. Okay, Larry. Oh, wait.
Okay, now can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Larry.
Okay, we passed the motion accepting one person. So I think the motion we need to make right now is to reverse that decision so that we can consider all 3 candidates and decide if we want to have more than one deaf-blind representative. So that is my motion.
Then Larry, say that again. Oh, your hand, the hand up feature is still on if you want to take that off. There you go. Thank you. And then if you don't mind muting as well. Thank you. Going back to Stephen. Just a caution, you may not be familiar with these deafblind individuals. I've known the community and them for years. Our community is very, very small. There are not enough leaders in this community. So I'm telling you, if you vote 3 at the same time, once these 3 are finished their term, you won't be able to fill the position. So that's my concern, is that we choose one person for now, let them do their term, and then bring in the others consecutively. That way we have enough leadership. Again, we have a very, very small community. Larry?
Okay, I made a motion. Is there a second, or does my motion fail? Because as of right now, we have accepted 1 member to be on the council.
So do we have a second? Anybody's, Melanie's saying no, we haven't had anyone second the motion.
Okay, then my motion fails, which is fine, but we already have added 1 person to the council. So if we're only going to have 1 person, we're done.
Okay, so we have a motion. Remind me of it, to remove the vote. Is that correct, Larry? So we need a second for that reversal.
My motion would be to reverse.
Hold on one second, Larry. We're waiting to spotlight the interpreter. Okay, now you can go ahead, Larry.
Okay, my motion is to reverse the vote for the, I think it was John Daly, so that we can then consider all 3 candidates and determine if we want 1 or more deafblind individuals on the council.
Melanie's asking if anyone's going to second that motion. And so far, none.
Okay, we voted for the previous motion. So John Daly is now our representative from the deafblind community.
And going to Sarah.
Are you spotlighted? Okay.
Yes.
So the one thing I would say is if anyone feels differently, you can always make a motion for one of the other 2 and we can vote on them. But if nobody makes a nomination for any of the other 2 candidates, then we're done. So Katie, I would call for any nominations for additional members. And if we don't get any, then we can say that we are done and we have our recommendation to who we're going to nominate for appointment to the advisory council.
Can we spotlight Katie? Oh, sorry, Stephen. We need to spotlight Stephen. I'm not comfortable with this situation because the other two applicants haven't had an opportunity to be voted in. I know we voted John, but we haven't had an opportunity to discuss them. And if are we choosing just one of the three? This is Kim. Stephen, so we already voted and that's final. It's already been approved. They've all been reviewed. We all read their bios. So I made the decision to nominate and we voted. So let's move on. Going back to Stephen. Right, my point is that you already voted John Gallion, but what about the other two? Ramona Rice and Rosemary did not have a chance to be even discussed or voted on. And Kim says, yes, that's correct, but nobody has made a motion for the other two. Therefore, there will be no discussion and we're moving on. So then I can make a motion to nominate the other two, and Melanie's saying, I think we're finished with that now. We're moving on.
Stephen could make a motion for another member and we could vote on them. Or we're done.
Then Steve says, I make a motion that we vote on the other two applicants for this position. And I can't see Stephen. Melanie, do you have concerns about missing something? The interpreter wasn't able to see. He's on the spotlight. Oh, there we go. That's better. Thank you. Stephen says, I make a motion that we vote for the other two candidates for the position as members so that we can all have an opportunity to vote.
Katie, you need a second.
Larry, are you second? Did you second that motion?
Mm-hmm.
So Kim made the motion, then Larry seconded.
No. Stephen. Stephen made the motion. Larry seconded it.
Okay, Melanie says, okay, got it.
Hold on, get on Katie. Wait to be highlighted so Melanie can follow you.
So thank you, Michelle. So all in favor? And he says, no, it should be an open discussion. We should discuss first. We discuss the individual names, Katie's asking, and Kim's saying there should be, so this is Kim. Now it's time for a discussion of that motion. So the person who made the motion has the floor to explain why that motion was presented and then allow others an opportunity for discussion before proceeding to a vote.
Mm-hmm. So we turn the time to Stephen. I'll take over, Julie.
Okay.
So the person who made the motion, we should open it for discussion. Kim's repeating again, the person who made the motion opens the floor for explaining their reason for the motion. So please spotlight Stephen Ehrlich, if you can explain that. This is Stephen. I just feel that to be more fair to all three of them, we need to vote on all three. If we just voted for the first person and chose them, it didn't allow opportunity for the other two. So I think there's real leaders in the community. Ramona has done much more than John Galley, so I would like to see Ramona Rice be involved. And that's part of the reason that I'm asking to vote on the other two members before we just finalize this and move ahead. And Kim, and I disagree with this motion because there was no real nomination attached to it. It was, I don't feel that it's a proper motion. Typically, you should bring up a name specifically and who they would represent. And so I personally disagree with this motion. I don't think it should, I think it should be considered a failed motion. So I would vote to fail this motion. Anyone else? Anything else anyone would like to discuss? Larry?
I also have worked with Ramona Rice. I think she'd be a great addition to the board. We probably, in hindsight, did not handle this the best way we could this as we went into this meeting. But I don't know that we have decided whether we're going to have one or more deafblind community members on the committee. So I like Stephen's motion. And if it fails at a vote, then I will make a motion to nominate Ramona to the council.
This is Kim. So this is good open discussion and that's fine. But my point is that Stephen's motion was vague and irrelevant. So it wasn't clear. And I would like to fail that motion. Then someone else can make another motion to nominate one of the other two candidates or nominate each one individually or whatever we decide to do. But I think we're good to go. I think it's that easy. We don't need to make this hard. Let's fail that motion. And then one of you can move to nominate another person, another one of those two, as advisory council representative, as I did with John Galley. It's not that hard. Let's move on. It's a pretty simple process if we just follow it. And this is Martin. I move to close discussion and vote. Brad seconds. Brad seconds on that motion. So we had, Melanie's asking, we had somebody second, then Brad seconded. Okay. Okay, this is Katie. So my understanding, sorry, the sun is in a bad place here, but my understanding is that we now move forward to vote on each of the other two nominees when we've decided whether we'll have all three or
Melanie? Am I on? Okay, we need to finish this vote. We need to vote. We don't need to motion or vote on ending the discussion. The chair can just call for a vote on Stephen's motion because there was a first and a second. So we vote on that. And if it fails or passes, we'll go forward with whatever happens. If it fails, then as Kim was saying, then anyone can make a nomination for the other two candidates. And I suggest we ask for nominations and then anyone can nominate either candidate and then we can vote on them. Does that sound good? But they have to be nominated. So that's what Kim was trying to say is anyone can nominate any of those three candidates and second them, and then we'll vote on each one, yes or no. You need to be highlighted, Katie. Wait.
Okay, so now we're voting on whether to approve Stephen's motion. So to approve Stephen's motion, anyone for? Any opposed? Five opposed. Okay, now let's move to Board Larry.
Okay, I nominate Ramona Rice to the board, the council.
Looks like Stephen seconds. Hand was up pretty high, but I believe that was yes. And Stephen saying yes, I did second. Okay, thank you. Okay, all in favor of Ramona Rice? One. Any opposed? Anyone opposed to Ramona Rice?
Anyone abstaining? You
Yeah.
guys have to make a, yeah, ask about abstentions.
He did.
Katie.
She just asked about any
Okay, I
abstaining.
can't hear anything. Who's voicing? I can't hear anything, you guys. I'm sorry. I wish I knew ASL, but I don't well enough yet.
If people aren't spotlighted, I'm not seeing them. I apologize.
Okay, you guys, Katie, wait till you're spotlighted to talk, please, so we can get the interpreter. Wait, you're not spotlighted. Hold on.
Okay, this is Kim. So I'm abstaining my vote. Let's go to gallery.
Katie?
Okay, so it seems the vote for Ramona fails if with only 2 for. Stephen has had his hand raised. We spotlight Stephen. So we voted without discussion. I think we first needed to have open discussion. Because I feel like a lot of people don't know who these individuals are. I don't think there was much discussion. So the committee voted to move ahead. The vote was done without any discussion. Is there any discussion? Okay, so let's move on. Does anyone want to make a nomination for that third individual? Or are we just voting on those 2? If there's no nominees, then we'll move on with the agenda. Okay, so I missed the last thing you said, Katie. Okay, Martin had something. No discussion on the bylaws for two reasons. There's not enough committee members to discuss today. And then also it's harder to do this by camera rather than email. There's just too many communication breakdowns. So I'm going to say let's hold that until next month and move on to the next thing.
Okay.
Wait, there you go.
He has his hand raised. I agree. I think we should put that off until next month. I agree with Martin. Back to Katie. Okay. Thank you. Okay. This hopefully is better lighting. Can see me better. Sorry. Okay. So moving on, any other discussion from the community or anything else? Any other announcements or anything? Kim?
Oh,
It came out too late. I didn't see the beginning.
oh,
You guys can we slow down for Melanie?
Steven say, I think the interpreter misunderstood what I was saying. I say, the interpreter is not understanding, I guess.
Yeah, I'm not, it's something.
Cable.
okay.
I know the interpreters are misunderstanding me. They're trying to ask him to clarify. So I know the interpreters are misunderstanding. So I move to table that until the next meeting. And Kim is asking, what motion are you talking about? Because I'm not understanding either. The bylaws discussion? Is that what? Steven's saying, yeah, it doesn't look good for time. So I move that we table that discussion until next time. And I vote we move on.
Can we clarify? Oh, okay, thank you.
And Kim says, Stephen, this is kind of out of order because Martin was just reporting to the committee. It was really just a report from that subcommittee. So there wasn't really a need to table anything or vote for anything. It was just a report. Is that clear? Okay. Can we go back to Katie? Spotlight Katie. Okay, back to Stephen. I was supporting Martin. I wasn't saying anything about it. I was supporting Martin's comment that we hold this up. I don't think it's a good time. There's a lot of confusion and a lot going on. I think hold off until next month. Things will be more clear. I think then voting will go more. They're just saying you moved late, Stephen, so we don't need to table anything. So it was just a report. I'm good with Martin's response. We're good. We can move on. Thank you. Okay, Sarah?
I just want to make sure I'm clear because I think Stephen's referring to the nominations, not the discussion for Martin. But what I have based on the votes is that we nominated and voted and approved John Galley, and that if we want to revisit additional members on the council, it'll happen at the next meeting. Is that what others understood? No? Okay, Kim's like, no, you don't. Sorry, okay, so I'm gonna stop and wait till you get spotlighted and I'm gonna be quiet. I'm gonna be quiet.
Okay, so the motion on nominations, we voted, we passed one person, and then went through all that other discussion. There were some failed motions in there. Then individual members were brought up and failed again. So there was no motions or anything. We went to Martin Price on his report about bylaws committee. So he could report and update, but that didn't need any kind of motion or it was just a report. So now I am moving to adjourn this business.
Sorry, I misunderstood.
Okay. So 2 short things, just things that are happening. Families with deaf children. You were freezing up for me, Katie. Sorry. So,
Project Fostering Joy for
for
deaf and hard of hearing children. They have a focus on celebrating raising our kids who are deaf and hard of hearing and the amazing things that they're able to accomplish and the beautiful parts of life that they enjoy. So that's one. And that will be, we will be having a kickoff on June 17th. And that will be explaining the whole project. And that will be on the EDHI Facebook page. And again, that's June 17th for all families. There's no age limit. So that should be really fun. I'm very excited about this project, really focusing on some positive things. Second announcement, there's the CARE project. Again, for families who have deaf or hard of hearing children. And the focus there will be on, it's more of a 2-day conference, and that will be August 5th and 6th. 4 to 5 hours each day. The first day is for families only. So if you'd like to register, you'll need to sign up for Saturday. So if you are a parent or family member of a child who is deaf or hard of hearing, you will participate both days, Friday, Saturday. There will be, it's developing empathy, discussing emotions, the emotional journey of raising a child who is deaf or hard of hearing. And I forgot some of the other, but I have a flyer that I'll be sharing. So I just wanted to give you a heads up that you can share that with your families, some exciting events that are coming up to support our families.
Oh, yeah.
Who are we going to next, Michelle? This is Michelle. I just want to say thank you to Katie. Do you mind sending the flyers? That way we can send those out to our parents as well. I'd love to share that with them. And just a quick community update for the School for the Deaf and Blind. We will have graduation on May 26th, and that will take place at 11 a.m. And we have summer camp coming up. So lots of summer camps, 28 different camps coming up for the summer. So lots going on. And this is Kim. Michelle, don't forget to announce the new director. Go back to Michelle. That's right. Thank you, Kim. I forgot where what's been announced. So you probably know that Amy Breinholt and Nathan are working different positions now. So Amy wanted to go back to teaching kindergarten again. She really enjoys working with kids and she's great in that role. And Nate wants to work with adults. So they've moved on to different positions and will be teaching adults, and Amy will be teaching the young ones. So we have 2 vacancies. We have done the interviews and we chose a new director by the name of Rachel Benedict. And our assistant director will be John Helgen. So that's the announcement. Both are deaf. And Rachel, maybe some of you know her mother. Her name is Beth Benedict. Some of you may be familiar with her mom, but I know her mom well. Anyway, Rachel has been teaching at RMDS, and she's been a leader there. She's great, and that's a different school for the deaf, yes. And John has been our transition specialist for the past 2 years, and is now will be working as the assistant director. Thank you, Kim, for the reminder. And everyone says hooray. This is Kim. I represent the Utah Association of the Deaf. And we are planning a conference that is underway, and we will be making some announcements shortly. We will not have a meeting during the month of July, so our June will be our next meeting until August. We'll be skipping July. And let's see what else. Our next board meeting in June will be in person. So looking forward and excited to that, to see what the reaction will be after such a long hiatus of being apart. So looking forward to seeing everyone in person. And that's the update for the UAD. Oh, also we have announced that we have launched our new website. There's a much better look and feel. So check it out. It's uad.org. That's it. Okay, says thank you, Kim. Thank you, Michelle, for all the updates from USDB and all the support and celebration. All the kids were very excited about that. I think Kim made a motion to adjourn a long time ago. Yep, Kim said that's right. I did move adjourn the meeting. And who second? Sorry, Amy seconds that motion.
Melanie, you're so happy.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Good to see everyone. See you next time. Bye-bye.